this section here, dealing with systems of measurement, we'll be dealing about converting from one system of measurement to another system, doing types of conversions here. Um, Now here you see equivalences. Now the conversion we will take place through cancellation. We use these conversions here to come up with something called unit rates. A unit rate is simply a rate that has the same measurement in different forms. For example, if I have here that 1 foot, 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. The unit rate, come up with the unit rate here, unit fraction I should say, unit fraction, will look something like this: 1 foot to 12 inches, or we could have 12 inches to 1 foot. Now we would use these unit fractions here to convert from one unit to another. Um, See, the conversion comes at the expense of cancellation. The conversion comes at the expense of cancellation. Conversion comes at the expense of cancellation. To put that into greater context here, suppose I wanted to convert 60 inches into is equal to so many feet. Suppose I wanted to convert that here. Okay, so I would use these unit fractions here, so I could cancel out the inches and replace it with feet. So I would use whatever unit fraction that'll allow that to happen. So I have 60 inches, and I want to get rid of inches, so I want inches to cancel out. I want inches to cancel out, so I put it in the bottom so it cancels. And I want to replace it with feet. Now I think about the relationship between feet and inches. I know that 1 foot is 12 inches. Now, when I multiply, the units, inches cancel out, and I'm left with 60 over 12 feet. That is the same thing as 5 feet. So we've converted inches into feet. So 60 inches is the same thing as 5 feet. That is basically how we're going to do your conversions. Cancellation comes at the expense of cancellation. So you put in the bottom, in the opposite location, numerator, denominator, whatever you want to cancel out. So here, you have the directions here. Multiply the unit to be converted by 1. Write 1 as a fraction relating to the units needed. So from another point of view here, this is the same thing as 1. 12 inches is the same thing as 1 foot. They have different units though. So the conversion comes at the expense of cancellation. Let's see here. So for this first one here, Marianne is 60 inches tall. What is her feet in height? So she is 66 inches tall. What is her height in feet? So we want to get rid of inches, and we want to replace it with feet. Then we think about the relationship between inches and feet. Well, we know that 12 inches is 1 foot. Now, when I multiply here, inches cancel out, and I'm left with 66 over 12. The only unit that's left is in feet. So then we do the math on that and divide it out. We end up with 5.5 feet. Let's look at another example. Dula, an elephant in San Diego Safari Park, weighs about 3.2 tons. Convert her weight to pounds. So the first thing we think about is the relationship between tons and pounds. 1 ton is equal to 2,000 pounds. 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. And they want us to convert 3.2 tons is equal to so many pounds. So when I write this out, I have 3.2 ton. And I want tons to go away. And I want to replace it with pounds. So that it does go away, I put it in the denominator so that it cancels out. Now I think about the relationship between tons and pounds. I know that 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. So now when I multiply, tons cancel out. Now only unit that's left is pounds. So I have 3.2 times 2,000 pounds. And 3.2 times 2,000 is going to be 6,400 pounds. Now, the reality is, in the very beginning, we saw a conversion chart, but the reality is that there's no such thing as a chart that has every possible conversion on it. Sometimes we may have to um, daisy chain some things together to make the conversion occur. So this one here, Juliet is going with her family to their summer home. She will be away for 9 weeks. Convert the time to minutes. Okay. So they want us to convert time, weeks to minutes. There may not be a direct relationship, but what we can do is go from weeks weeks to days, and then from days to hours, and then go from hours to minutes. it's a good idea to go ahead and have a plan and put it on paper beforehand. So I want to go from, I want to convert 9 weeks into so many minutes. So when I daisy chain this stuff together, I have 9 weeks. I want weeks to cancel out, and I want to replace it with days. But then I want days to cancel out and replace it with hours. And then I want hours to cancel out and replace that with minutes. That's what I want to have happen. I want weeks to cancel out and replace it with days. Then I want days to cancel out and replace it with hours. Then I want hours to cancel out and replace it with minutes. I'm just following this right here. Now I'll think about the relationship between hours and days. Well, I know that 1 week has 7 days. I know that one day, there are 24 hours in a day. And I know that 1 hour has 60 minutes. Now, when I multiply this out, certain things are going to cancel out. I see that weeks cancel out, days cancel out, hours cancel out, and the only unit that's left is minutes. So when I multiply this across the top, I'm going to have 9 times 7 times 24 times 60 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. So we multiply the numerator and we end up with 90,720 minutes. For our answer here. This particular problem asks the question, how many ounces are there in 1 gallon of milk? So when we do that, we have to daisy chain some things together. We have to go from gallons to quarts, and then go from quarts to pints, and then from pints to cups, and then from cups to ounces. So we have here 1 gallon. 1 gallon is equal to so many ounces. So I'll multiply here. I have 1 gallon. I want gallons to disappear, and I want to replace that with quarts. Then I want quarts to disappear, and I want to replace that with pints. I want pints to cancel out, And I want to replace pints with cups. Then I want cups to cancel out and replace that with ounces. So I want gallons to cancel out, and I want quarts to cancel out, and I want pints to cancel out, and I want cups to cancel out. So everything will be in ounces. The relationship between quarts and gallons. Well, I know that there are 4 quarts in 1 gallon. Between pints and quarts, I know that 2 pints make up 1 quart. And I know that 2 cups make 1 pint. And I know that 8 ounces make 1 cup. Okay. So now when I multiply, gallons cancel out, quarts cancel out, pints cancel out, cups cancel out. The only unit that's left is in ounces. So in the numerator, I'm going to have 1 times 4 times 2 times 2 times 8 all over 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. And the unit here is in ounces. Everything is ounces. So my final answer here is 128 ounces. That's my final answer.